Today I'll be calling cable. My name is Wakar Meyer and I'm your Elliott Wave analyst, reviewing what has been and predicting what is likely to be in cable price action. So yesterday I said that I thought that this structure right here, from this point to this point, was a double zigzag. Upon counting it, I still believe that that's the case, that it's a double zigzag. The question remains is what is the ultimate count? Now, from this top up here, right, where I'm going to put the arrow right there, I counted it 5 waves down to this dot 1 marking. It then made a flat to this dot 2 marking. And since then, it's moved down what I think is 5 waves. I'm calling this parentheses 1, into a double zigzag of parentheses 2. Now, I said it would probably retrace into this zone right here. Let me put this on here. Basically into this congestion area where I put the yellow horizontal line, but it didn't achieve that point, and it pushed down and made a new low. I said the pressure was to the downside, and that's what it did. It moved to the downside. But I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if it's possible that perhaps it's doing something a little bit different. Perhaps what it's doing is something like this. If I remove the labeling and I insert different labeling, it could be dot 3, dot 4, and it's looking to make dot 5. Okay, I use dots in front of the numbers instead of circles because my drawing software doesn't accommodate circles. But anyway, so if we take this view of the movement, okay, and then we use our channeling technique, well, hang on a second, let me back up a little bit and tell you kind of why I'm thinking this. Second waves tend to be zigzags, and you tend to get alternation between second and fourth waves. And if this is a flat and this is a double zigzag, which for analysis purposes is the same as a zigzag, well, that's alternation. And this wave is clearly shorter than the wave coming down from, mid-June. So the question becomes, okay, well, what if this is a third wave and this is a fourth wave? So let's play that out with our trend lines. What you're going to do is you're going to connect the terminus of 1 and the terminus of 3. Try to make this semi-exact here. So that gives us a trend line. I then go ahead and duplicate that and move it up to the terminus of 2, and I'm going to extend it right. Okay, well, as you can see, the price action broke the trend line, right? So if this is indeed a fourth wave, then what I would expect to see is, so per the channeling technique, what I need to do now is I need to adjust my trend line to fit the fourth wave and duplicate that line and bring it down to the terminus of the third wave here. There we go. And according to Elliott wave principle, this should, because it broke the trend line to the top side, it should break the trend line to the bottom side. Now the question is, can it do that and remain shorter than 3 so that we would have a contracting first wave? And the answer is yes. You can see that if this thing were to keep pushing down, it could break this line, probably find support around 46.15, something like that, and still be shorter than wave 3. So I'm going to change my count once again and kind of divert to this, because here's the thing. In a third wave, you would expect an acceleration. You would expect the movement to start moving faster than this, portion coming from mid-June down to the beginning of July. And yeah, there's a steepness in here that wasn't quite in the first part, but it's not accelerating, at least not in my mind. It's not going faster and faster. So I'm going to go ahead and change to this count. Either way, the pressure remains to the downside. I would expect it to get to at least, this 46.15 mark. And from there, we could then take a look at it and see what it's looking like in terms of the other technicals. One of the things that I look at is you can see for this wave down, if you look at the MACD, well, this big hump here is less than this big hump here, right? And I think that would be consistent with a third wave, even though it's shorter. That's where more of the pressure is, if you will. And you would expect this fifth wave to be less than the third wave, and it looks like it could be setting up that way. So something to consider. One thing also to consider, that if it does break this, and then it, if price does break the lower channel and then it crosses the channel and breaks above it, that's going to be a real good sign that this count is the correct count. And if that's the case, then I would expect a rally up to about this 53.05, because per Elliott wave principle, when the first wave is the extended wave, you would expect the retracement to come back to the terminus of the second wave of that, of the second wave anyway. And if we do a Fibonacci extension, let's see, that's going to be probably fairly shallow. Let me take it down to where I think it might go, down to here. And all right, well, look at that. So right here, you can see that the terminus of the second wave is very close to a 61.8. And that if this entire wave, when it's finished, is going to be a first wave, because I think it's got tens of thousands of pips to fall, or thousands anyway, well, the extended wave is usually the same as the parent wave. So if this entire thing is going to be a first wave, it makes sense that the extended wave is the internal first wave. So, and that the retracement is pretty sweet 61. So that's today's call. I'll hope you join me again tomorrow. Or, boy, I messed that up. That's today's call. I hope you'll join me again for tomorrow's call.